Hello everyone, and thank you for having me come to speak with you here today. I really enjoy speaking with young people, so I'm really glad to be here and going to have a great discussion. So to get started, I'm going to ask you this popular question that if you were to think back to your childhood, you realize that you've been asked this question before. And this question is, what do you want to be when you grow up? So at some point in your life, you were asked this question, and even in grade school, you had to do a project or an assignment where you had to come to school dressed up in whatever uniform that represented what you want to be when you grow up. So in that time, it was like a fun activity. It was great, it was just lighthearted, and that's what it was. But now that you're getting older, you're starting to realize that it's more than just a fun activity. That now that you're getting older, there's so many things that you have to do in order to become whatever it is you want in the future. And another question that is not as popular, but it's going on right now in your life, is that who am I? And what am I going to become in life? What's my purpose in life? Why am I here on the earth? It might have never been asked to you directly like this, but it's something that you're probably dealing with and facing because you're not a child anymore and you're not completely an adult yet. So you're right in the middle, just trying to understand different things about yourself and where you want to be in the future. So I remember being in this exact position as well. I remember trying to figure out where I fit in and who I was and not quite knowing how I was going to answer this question. And I didn't know how I was going to answer it, and I was just always thinking about it a lot. And this happened when I was in a group setting and we had a leader just speaking to us and telling us different things about life. And he asked us a question and said, what do you want to become in life? And I'm just sitting there, I'm 17 years old, sitting there and listening to him say this question. I'm like, what? I have no idea, I don't know. I'm 17 years old, I'm not thinking about that far down the road yet. Because I knew this question he was asking me was not, what career do you want, what job do you want? He was asking us what we wanted to become in life, like a purpose for your life. And I'd never ever thought about this before. And I remember sitting there trying to understand how I was going to answer this question. And then he did something crazy. He started to go down the road and make everyone give him an answer. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, what am I going to say? And so people said their responses and gave whatever they wanted to say. And then one person in particular, this person said, I want to become a worldwide singer. And everyone was like, okay, all right, go ahead. So, but I'm sitting there not knowing what I'm going to say. Like, I'm sitting in my chair, but in my mind is racing, trying to think of what I'm going to say. And when it came for my turn to give my answer, I remember standing up, looking at the leader, and saying, I don't know. And for me, it wasn't I don't know because I didn't care, but it was I don't know, like from the bottom of my heart, I really had no idea what I wanted to become, what I should become in life. And this question really began to bother me because I realized that this question was very important, but I didn't know how I was going to answer it. So for days and weeks and months, I always thought about this question, always trying to find a way to answer it and trying to give myself an answer to this really important question. But for some strange reason, I could not give an answer. I didn't know what the answer was. I couldn't find an answer. And when I couldn't find the answer to this question, I began to make myself believe, and I just told myself, well, I guess I don't have a purpose in life. I guess I'm not important. I guess my life does not matter. I guess this is all there is to it. And I just made myself believe that. I always said that to myself constantly. And when I began to say this negative things to myself, it began to affect my decisions and my outlook in life and just the way I saw things in general. I was no longer motivated. I was just constantly just concerned and worried because I saw myself as not important. And now when I look ahead and I see and I think about this and I see this and I remember how dark and just lonely this was for me, and when I see people go through this, it just breaks me because I remember what it looks like and what it feels like to go through that kind of thoughts and that kind of negative feelings. And that's how it went on for a long time. And it led right into my senior year in high school. So we all know here as a high school student that in your senior year in high school, you're trying to figure out lots of different things. So many things just come into you at one time. You have to find out, what college am I going to go to? Am I going to get a scholarship to go to college? What am I going to study in college? Are my grades going to be good enough to even get into a college, or am I going to find a good job? There's so many things already coming at you in your senior year, and that's where I was. So I'm thinking about my senior year in high school, and I'm thinking about this really, really important question that happened. And so I just remember constantly being faced with so many questions and so many things just bothered me at such a young age. I didn't even know how to answer it. I didn't know how to deal with. And so this is how it went on and on and on, and it was just so sad. And I remember this how it went on until one very, very awesome day, which was the day of our high school graduation. So this is the day like everyone in high school is waiting for, the day to like finally get out of high school and like have a real adult life. And so I'm sitting there at my high school graduation, surrounded with hundreds of fellow students. And then we have a student giving a speech, and she's talking about her life. And one day she mentioned that something she did helped her understand that she had a purpose in life. And as soon as I heard this word purpose, something within me just kind of jumped and leaped, because I was like, oh my goodness, purpose. Like, that's what I'm trying to find out for myself. Like, oh my goodness, whatever she did, I don't care what it is, like, I'm going to also do it. That's what she said. She read a book called The Purpose-Driven Life. And that book helped her understand that she had a purpose. And so in my head, I'm thinking, okay, I'm taking like a mental note about this book. I'm going to go to Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, and get this book for myself. And I'm like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. So my graduation was on a Friday morning, and by that Sunday, that same weekend, I'm just walking in my house, and by some strange, very, very strange coincidence, I see this book that I just mentioned just sitting there on the shelf in my house. And honestly, I had no idea we even owned this book in my house. I didn't even know, I've never seen this book before in the house. So I'm thinking, okay, this is a sign that I'm going to read this book, that I need to read this book. So I take the book and I start reading it. I just start going through it and understanding what the book is saying to me, because I'm on summer break. I'm like, oh, it's going to be my summer reading project. So that's what I did. And honestly, when I did go through the book and read the book, it changed so many things for me. Number one, it did help me realize that I had a purpose and I have a purpose. And this might sound so simple, so basic, but when you sit there and believe a lie or believe something somebody told you that was not true, and you believe that over and over, and then the truth comes, it just changes everything. And that's what it did for me. When I understood that I had a purpose, I became more motivated, I became more driven and more committed to different things around me. And I had some amazing mentors around me in this time of my life that helped me find a purpose and helped me understand my purpose and know how to walk it out in my life. And they encouraged me to accomplish some really great things in my life. And I was able to go through college, and I graduated with the highest honors, which is summa cum laude. That's like, you have like an amazing GPA. And then the second thing was that I was able to get a master's degree a year later, and then later became a CPA. All this at a really young age. And when I look back at my life and I look at everything that happened, I'm just so amazed. And I know the reason that all this happened for me in such a quick time was because I found my purpose, and because I knew that I was important and I was valuable and I could do great things. And that's the same thing with you. You might have never thought about this question before, but I promise you that when you begin to think about your purpose and you find your purpose, you will discover that you can do great things in your life. When I went through this time in my life, I honestly thought I was alone. I thought I'm the only one going through this, something is wrong. However, I recently discovered that 11% of young people go through depression before the age of 18. And also this percent increases before they get to adulthood. This number just increases. And that makes so much sense, because when the person is depressed, they don't see the good things that can happen in the future. Also, there was a research done by a children's hospital. So this shows that they know what they're talking about. So this children's hospital, they said that there was something intangible about a teenager, about a group of young people that found their purpose and knew that they had a purpose. So this makes so much sense. And they also said that these young people, they were more protective of themselves. They made better decisions. They knew what they wanted to accomplish in their life. And this indeed makes sense based on what I went through. And there's even a quote by a man named Miles Monroe that says that the greatest tragedy in life is not death, but a life without purpose. So this might sound crazy because whenever we hear that someone that we love is going to pass away or is sick, we're really concerned and we don't want them to pass away because we love them so much. And then when they do pass away, we mourn their loss and we just don't like to hear the word death. But this author is saying that a person who lives their lives here on earth without a purpose, that is tragedy. So I'm here to tell you today that you have a purpose. You might not know what it is yet, but when you find it, you will discover that you have a purpose. History has shown so many people that when they discovered that they had a purpose in their life, they were able to accomplish so many great things. So if you think about people like Oprah, Tyler Perry, Steve Jobs, LeBron James, all these people found something in them and they were like, I'm born to be great, I'm a champion, I'm amazing, I'm gonna be good. And it didn't matter the things they went through in their past. This belief helped them accomplish great things. And you can accomplish great things when you discover your purpose. You are so unique. And to show you how unique you are, there are over 7 billion people in the world today. But if you open your hands and look at your fingerprints, you realize that you're the only one with the exact fingerprints that you have. And the same way we read about all these amazing people that accomplish great things in life is the same way we can be reading about you when you discover your purpose and walk in it.